Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Debbie. I am so happy to be on your screen today. Please, if you are yet to subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, I have lots and lots of content to deliver. I want to encourage you to subscribe and also remember to turn on the notification bell such that if there's any video at all, any new upload, you will be the first, to be notified. Okay. Now, if you still remember this particular pattern, I'm sure some of you have watched the way I, drafted this pattern. Okay, and if you haven't watched this, the way I did it, you need to go and watch it. It is very, very important. So after you had done watching, then you can come and watch this episode, and I'm sure you would understand better. Okay, so let's get started. The very first thing I'm going to do right now before cutting on fabric is to duplicate this particular effect from the beginning here to this very line. Okay, I'll be using this to trace it if possible. So, and after tracing, I will add about ½ an inch seam allowance, not here but on the other duplicated copy. Okay, so this paper is what I'll be using. What I would do is to place it like this. You already know that my seam allowance has been added everywhere, so I may be doing this off camera. Okay, so I'll just pin. I will just use my pen and trace. So once I do this, then this line I will use my tracing wheel to trace it. Okay, now I am done tracing. I'll remove the pin. So this is what I have. I will just label. This is going to be the top, and this, of course, the down part. And this side is to the neckline. Yeah, you understand what I mean? And this side is to the armhole, so that I won't turn it the other way. So it's important I label it that way, just to avoid confusion. Sorry, I'm not using ruler. So now this is the down part. I will just add about ½ an inch or probably ½ an inch seam allowance. Well, this ½ an inch seam allowance is not a seam allowance per se. Okay, but you will get to understand as I go on. So let me do ½ an inch. So ½ an inch. So then I will just connect straight to the main box. Then connect the point with a straight line. Now I'm going to cut out. And I'm going to indicate how to place it. I'm going to indicate on the pattern how to place it on your fabric. Okay. Now this is going to be place the pattern on the wrong side of the fabric. Place on wrong side of fabric. So this is going to be on the wrong side. So you place place your fabric the wrong side, the right side of your fabric, you place it on the table. So that means the wrong side of the fabric is facing you, and you just place it this way. I hope you understand. So this is how you're going to place it. Then for this, for the main bodies, you will place this on the right side of the fabric. So meaning that the right side of your fabric should be facing you. Okay? So by the time you place it on fabric, make sure that your right side, the right side of your fabric is facing you. Then you can place this as it is on the right side of your fabric. Place on right side of fabric. So this is it. And why is it like that? The reason is because I want this effect to be on my left side, the left side of my shoulder. I hope you understand. You know, we have two shoulders, right and left. The left hand side of my shoulder is why I want the effect to be, and that's why I will be placing it this way. Okay? Now, let's go to the cutting of the fabric. So I am done cutting the front part. Okay, so, and I will be covering it with a net fabric. So what I did was just to place this pattern on the right side of the net. I placed the same pattern on the right side of the main fabric, which is the crepe. Now you can also add lining to it if you wish. So this is what I have, and now I will place this. I will place it like this. All you need to do is just to pick your needle and thread and tack together. What I need is just for the two fabrics to be together. I want it to be two in one. The net, the crepe fabric, just one piece. That's all I need. So however you want to do that, you are very free. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and cut this and other panels, the back, the facing. Now, I want to say that your neckline here for the front is not going to have a face. And like I said earlier, the back remains the way it is. You can lower the back just the way I did in that video. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and cut this. My front is not going to have a facing. Okay, it's only the back piece or the back panel that will have a neck facing. Okay, but the only facing that the front will have is this. All right, so and I'm going to be showing you how to do that. Okay, and how to sew it and to attach to the back panel as well. Okay, note every detail on your pattern and try as much as you can to transfer the detail onto your fabric. All right, so now I said that this part, the front piece is going to have just one facing, and the facing is going to be, you know, concentrated on this part, on this side. Okay, so and I've cut the facing now, you can see. And one thing I also did off camera was to add my interfacing. You may not be able to see clearly, but I've added interfacing on the wrong side of my fabric, and I also overlocked the down part, which is this side. Remember that I added seam allowance apart from what I have here. When I was cutting this, I added half an inch seam allowance, and out of the half an inch seam allowance, I decided to overlock. So I still have like few inches, not up to half anymore anyway, but very close to half. So I have seam allowance added here, and I have the same thing. Can you see the same piece? And you can see my seam allowance. I hope you understand that. Okay, so now to join this, you are going to place this facing where it belongs. Okay, let me just trim out the excess lace fabric on it. So now I'm turning to the right side, and I will place my facing on it this way. I hope you can see, and ensure that it's well placed. And make sure your pins are available because you're going to be needing them. So now the right side of this, on the right side of this, and you're going to pin, okay? In order that, or to minimize errors when you are sewing, I would encourage or advise that you also pin this point. But you need to pin this point and make sure you lay it flat on your table. It has to be flat, okay? And make sure that the facing is being placed properly, edge, to edge. And once you are done with that, then try to flatten it again and pin this part as well. Okay, of course, you are not sewing this side, but just for it to, be stable while sewing, just to avoid, unforeseen errors or unplanned errors while sewing. So you just use your pin to hold the facing in place. So, but if you think that won't happen, if you think you are professional enough to be able to, avoid this, so you may not bother to do it, okay? So I think we are good to go right now. So what I will do is, now remember that I said I have half an inch seam allowance, about 3/8 of an inch, because I had overlocked, can you see? And of course that would have chopped a little of my fabric. So let's assume I have about 3/8 or thereabout of seam, 3/8 of an inch of seam allowance around this area. So what I would do is to place it on my machine this way. Okay, I'll place it like this and lower the machine needle into 3/8 away from the edge, from this overlocked line, 3/8 of an inch away, or half an inch away if your seam allowance is about half of an inch. So whatever allowance that you decide to add, if it's quarter, just ensure that you subtract it from it, okay? Meaning that you are not sewing from this edge, okay? You are excluding the seam allowance and you start your stitching from here. I mean, after your seam allowance, I hope you understand. And you start stitching all the way up. Then when you get to half an inch away from the edge, when you get here, you turn the machine this way and you continue stitching, okay? You continue stitching, and when you get here, you turn this way as well and you continue stitching, okay, until you get to half an inch away from the overlocked line. I hope you understand that. So that is what I'm going to do right now, okay? So as you begin to sew, you begin to remove the pins, okay? Pinning this fabric is very, very important. Can you see that it's very easy to sew because everything has already been pinned? So all you need to do is just to remove pins as you sew along the line. And now I am trimming out the excess fabric. And after trimming, you notch so that you can have a well relaxed seam by the time you press with your iron. So now that I'm done notching, I'm going to be cutting from this point to the very point that my stitching or my stitches stopped, okay? So that's about 3/8 of an inch away from the overlocked line. So I'll just open up to that very point, this very point that my stitch stopped, okay? And I will do the same here as well to this point. Please ensure you don't cut it to the very point of the seam allowance, please, because if you look closely at the pattern, you will know that that is where you're supposed to, the stitch is supposed to stop and you're supposed to cut open. Okay, so now I am turning to the right side, ensuring that the edges are pointed out, and with my ruler, with my scissors or maybe a screwdriver or something, you can just bring this pointed part out before you press with your iron. Very, very important. So this is the outcome. Can you see how it looks? So now here I have pressed. Can you see? It's well relaxed than the way it was before. So this is the wrong side. This is what you will have. Now for my strip, I cut 1.5 inches by 10. 10 is much, even 8 is much, but you can just to be on the safer side, cut like 7, between 7 and probably 8 is fine. So, and of course, here I am sewing using just 1/8, or not up to 1/8 actually. So I'm now turning to the right side, turn to the right side and iron it properly. And you can even do about 2 inches. 2 inches is not bad. So now I'll come to the middle of the effect and just fold a little in the middle. So let this start from the middle so that you would have an even fold. I hope you understand that. So as you fold in the middle, you fold again from the right, you fold from the left, right, left, right, left, until you are able to gather everything into your fold. You're gathering all the fabric into your fold. Can you see? So you have about more than 3 or 4 folds or thereabouts. So the idea is you are trying to bring everything together. Okay, so and once you are done bringing together, then you gather up this way and hold it firm as shown. You have to do this carefully. You don't want to rush and make mistakes. So now that you have folded and gathered everything, you're going to use your pin to hold, and this is the effect you have. Can you see what you have? So now I'm going to pull down. I want it to be down. Now what I'm trying to do here is to follow my pattern. Okay, so please do this according to what you have on your pattern. Very important. So that's why I'm bringing it down, so that, you know, the fold wouldn't be too up. So now you stitch. Now I would recommend you use a zipper foot, a left side zipper foot, so that you have your stitches as closely as possible to the fold. Okay, so that it can be held properly, tightly, not too tight anyway, but it has to be at least firm. So here I realized that it wasn't firm enough. It was still a bit loose, so that's why I'm trying to, I don't have a left side zipper foot, but I would recommend you get one so that it will be very easy for you to, you know, make your stitches as close as possible. Okay, Now I'm trimming out. So this is what you have. Can you see? Now I want to join the rest of the shoulder. So I'm bringing these two together, because of course don't forget that these two make your complete shoulder. So I'm bringing together and pinning as shown, and don't forget this has to come in between them. So you pull out and you pin together. So this is what you have. So you have to ensure that the strip has to come in between as shown, and pin together and stitch. So this is what holds the folds together. And of course you create a kind of illusion, and people will be wondering how possible, how were you able to create a fold? Did you cut a separate fabric to, you know, create the effect? You know, there will be questions. Okay, so now that I've pinned, I'm trying to sew it, join the two together to have it as one piece. So just stitch down to the very, very end. So now I am done stitching. This is what I have. Can you see how beautiful it looks? How amazing it is. This is the effect. Very, very lovely. Okay, so now if you want to join lining to it, anything you want to do on the front piece, you are very free. So let's just assume the effect is no longer there. This is what you have, and you can join your lining to the neckline and do whatever you want to do. So you are done making the front piece as one, just the way it is meant to be. So now I have like the two shoulders the same. So now these are my back pieces. I want to show you what to do in order to join the back pieces to the front piece. Now that you have the front piece together as one, it will be very easy for you to join the back pieces. So the back shoulder to shoulder, the shoulder of the front piece joined to the shoulder of the back. Can you see, just this way? So now I'll be using pin just to like show you how it's going to look by the time you finish sewing, you know. So at this moment you ignore the design or the effect, the fold effect that you have on the front piece, and just do whatever you want to do on the front piece, you know. So you just assume that the effect is not there. I hope you understand my point. So you can join to the back piece. Can you see? Can you see? This is how it's going to be. So this is it. And I'm going to join to the other shoulder. This is just an illustration for you to have an idea of how it's going to look by the time you're ready to join the shoulders. So this is it. Can you see? This is so lovely. This is a kind of illusion. You know, this design raises lots and lots of questions. Okay, so now I still have my pins, you know, all over the fabric all over. Can you see? So this is it. So what you do here is to tack with needle and thread. By the time you attach your sleeve, you can tack on top of the sleeve, on top of the shoulder at the back to make the fold stay properly. So you tack and you design with stones if you want. So here I had already joined the down part, the flare, and this is what I have. I even used pin, joined the zipper and all of that. So this is the effect, this is the idea, and thank you so much for watching. I would also want you to make yours and, you know, let me see the outcome. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.